the cinematographer, as a film.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah,
Good morning, good
that's
afternoon, and good night, Mark. I think you've just joined from New Zealand. I have no idea what time it is there. Thank you, one and all, for joining us here for the 2022 Virtual World Society Nextant Awards for the first time in VR. Looking around, I know most of you, it's wonderful to be, feel free to clap. I think clapping is enabled in here. Sure. See where it's clapping. Clapping is enabled, so if you move your hands together, it should start the clap. But we also have canned applause. Yay! The things you can do in VR, good fun. So yeah, Mark, if you want to take a seat, either I can help you with that, or if you aim your, I think it's the right button, the right mouse click, right or left mouse click at a chair, and then release, you've done it. Fantastic, just like that. But then you don't need to stand up. Okay, we have a bit of a program scheduled for today, and just before we get started, I want to give a little bit of some housekeeping. So we're not expecting any fire drills here today, so there won't be any alarms, and you won't have to exit the building in an orderly fashion or anything like that. Exactly. Emergency exits to the back and all of that. None of that in VR. Tom Furness will hopefully be joining us shortly as well. He's been coming in and then getting kicked out again. We have with us today 3 awardees, who we'll be introducing shortly. And one of them we did some testing with earlier, and as much as we tried, we weren't able to eliminate a bit of a audio issue we had with them. So what we're going to be doing is, when it's their time to speak, we'll be muting everybody else. We'll just be managing the microphones to make sure that the audio experience is as good as we can get it today. So we've got Jackie here. Jackie, am I doing okay? Am I going to be introducing? Shall I keep going with the slides and so on?
Yeah, go ahead and keep going.
Oh, sorry, Jackie. Let me just switch your microphone on so I can hear you. Try me again, Jackie.
Yeah, go for it.
Lovely. All right. Well, then let's make a start. So here we are, the Virtual World Society 2022 Nextant Awards, and I have another little effect for us. Here we go. I think it says it here. We can celebrate a little bit and kick this party off. Wave your hands in the air like you just don't care. All right.
Hey, Daniel,
Please?
real quick, would you like to try using emojis for this event today? Yeah, shall I turn those on for you?
Please do. I have seen this update, but I haven't used them yet. So talk me through it, Steve. How do you do it?
So I'm going to go ahead and turn it on, and emojis will be available on everyone's wristwatch in VR.
Oh yeah.
And
okay.
if somebody's using a PC, you'll be able to access the emojis on the menu. So emojis are now activated for anybody in VR on your wristwatch.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Then, so we'll go ahead and give that
There
a try
we go.
here.
Okay. Is that working for me? Is that the star
there it
emoji?
goes.
Excellent.
There it is.
Very good.
Cool.
All right. So on your wristwatch.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks for that. Nice one. On with the show. A couple of words about the Nextant Award. Jackie was going to help us with this. She's been on a bit of a whirlwind tour, receiving an award of her own, and I think the travel got the better of her voice. Yes, big round of applause, please, for Jackie, who got a Lifetime Achievement Award from Accenture and the AIXR. So fantastic. We'll have a couple of words from Jackie towards the end. The Nextant is, do we have Christopher Stapleton? I saw that Christopher Stapleton did register to attend the event today. I think Tom and Chris and Jackie were involved in the original idea behind the Nextant. And this is an award for person to whom others can turn for inspiration, as you can see, guidance and role modeling. And we have some previous awardees in the audience here today as well, and who are making a huge difference with their work in immersive technologies. What I find interesting, when I first found out about the Nextant Awards, I joined virtual reality and immersive technologies very, very recently, only 4 and a bit years ago. And you'll forgive me for initially thinking that VR was a very new technology and that it all started with Oculus, until, of course, I was educated by some of the peers we have here in the room to explain that there were waves and generations of this technology going back right to the 60s and even further, depending on how you define virtual reality. So the Nextant Award is partly also, I think, a conversation about the longer history of virtual reality and the people who contributed to that. Here are some of the, or all of our, I think, previous winners. We have Randy Pausch, Brenda Laurel, Mark Bolas, Noni de la Peña, Hideyuke Tamura, Kathy Bisbee, Ryland Daniels, Charity Everett, Richard Satava, Jackie Lee, and Sophia Batchelor, and of course the 3 who are in the room with us today. So you're in good company. Please find out a little bit more about these winners on our website. We have a page dedicated to Nextants. I think we are getting ready, if I'm not mistaken. I have a little something for you from Tom. He's not able to join us here for some reason. Because of his internet connection, but he did leave me a recording that we can play back now. So let's see this. Playing current. Okay, I think we can do this. Here we go.
Everyone, to the 2022 Nextant Award Ceremony. So happy that you could join us. This is the first time we've done this in VR. Since we are the virtual society, and inappropriate for us to be here. You will be amazed about the new folks that we have bringing into the prize winner circle, and we will be hearing from them later. So sit back and enjoy yourself, and when you get a chance, sort of scroll around, especially up on the balcony, so you can see some of the previous prize winners. So thanks for coming. Looking forward to having this experience with you.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Lovely. Excellent. We did that recording just in case he couldn't join, and what do you know, we needed it after all. So, lovely. I think, without further ado, we're going to bring up and announce our first awardee. And to introduce this person, please can you welcome to the stage Ryland. Ryland, do you want to come on up? You can either teleport or join us here.
Fantastic. Hello.
I'm just.
If you could put the slides up, Daniel.
Yes,
Back.
thank you. Sorry, yes, I apologize for that.
Multimedia here today.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So, Ryland, over to you to announce the Rising Star Prize.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. So, hi, everyone. I'm Ryland Bosniak, and I received the Nextant Spirit Prize in 2019. And I am super honored and to present the 2022 Spirit Prize to Melinda Chu. Congratulations, Melinda. So, Melinda first began building virtual worlds in 2019 at just the age of 13. And she followed her passions in virtual reality and participated in several mixed reality projects and competitions. She attended the Medical Augmented Reality Summer School as the only high school student and competitor, a camp organized by Technical University Munich and the Johns Hopkins University, which brings together the world's experts in medical AR and students who are passionate from academia and industry to develop and use XR technologies to foster cooperation and push the boundaries of medical augmented reality. She's also been involved with the Girls STEAM Institute and the Kansas City Digital Drive, and she's helped to develop virtual mannequins for training nurses in hopes of transforming the medical field by creating a more engaging educational environment through XR technologies. Melinda's journey in the metaverse has also brought her to explore creative VR and research analysis projects and exhibitions through an internship with the Chuck Studios in Seoul. Her long-term goal is to inspire and to empower tens of thousands of teens around the world to engage in building accessible, ethical, intelligent, and welcoming immersive worlds. That's just amazing. So congratulations, Melinda Xu.
Melinda, do you want to come on up? And tell you, yep, wonderful. Maneuver
Awesome.
your way up here. Okay, and I'm gonna get.
Oh,
Hey.
Hey.
I'm having trouble getting up
there's
the
a ramp
stairs.
here.
I'm
Very
sorry.
good. There you go.
Okay. There you go. Finally.
Here, I'll shake your virtual hand. There you go. There. Awesome.
I think. Okay.
Cool.
Oh. There we go.
I can't find
Melinda,
the shake hand
congratulations.
option on the computer. Oh, thank you so much.
It's a
really
virtual
an honor.
simulation. Awesome.
So
I can only
Melinda,
see the clap option, so I think I'm just gonna clap instead.
There you go.
Awesome.
that
Awesome.
works. That works
Perfect.
quite well.
That works
do
great.
you want to face the front? Do you want to rotate just a little bit to the front there? Wonderful. And so Melinda, Melinda's currently joining from China, and I think it's very, very early for you there, so we're doubly honored for you to have made the effort to join us here today. Melinda,
Of course, I wouldn't miss it for the world.
we have a video to play of you, but you're here in person. Would you like to give your acceptance speech in virtual person?
Would it be okay to actually play the video? Because I'm not
Yeah,
sure
let's-
if I'm not. I just want to make
Absolutely.
sure that.
Absolutely.
Where'd this
But
come from?
first of all, I wanted to award you with our Nextant trophy. You'll be getting something in the post at some point. But I just thought that's for you anyway. I'll leave that there, and I can happily play the video for you if you want, Melinda. So let's do that now.
Thank you.
Um,
I'm honored. How do I pick this up, or do I just leave it there?
Yeah, with your device, I'm not sure. Leave it there for now. I'll put it on your table, and then
Okay.
cheekily, what I'll have to do is I'll have to borrow it back later. But you will get a real thing later on in the post. So we're
Okay,
just
thank
gonna.
you.
No problem. Do you want to stay on the stage? Do you want to sit back down? It's up to you.
I can stay on the side right here,
Yep.
just to
Okay.
also
Good,
watch
then we
the
can
video.
see the video.
Lovely. Okay. We'll put the trophy here with you. We'll put it in the light there a little bit. And then we're gonna play the video. Here we go.
To receive
All
the
right.
Next Spirit Prize for 2022. Words cannot express how honored I am to accept such a prestigious award at such an early point in my life. To be among all the past and future recipients of making their own change respectively in the vast world of VR is an honor I never would have dreamed of. I'm humbled to receive this distinguished award. It reminds me that this is not the end, but we are still in the beginning of our journey. At Youth AI Lab, in less than 3 years, we have been able to bring the world's top experts in the intersection of artificial intelligence and immersive technologies in the form of talks to more than 6,000 youth participants through free Zoom webinars and to more than 25,000 youth worldwide through our free YouTube channel live streams. There are 1.8 billion youth worldwide. 9 out of 10 of those live in developing countries with little or no access to the latest insights from the world's top experts regarding the world of tomorrow. We still have a long way to go to ensure that these and the skills that are required in order to enter these fields and the experience are made available to all. However, this award has reminded me of the experiences that have shaped my perspective. and that showed me in the first place just how much potential the metaverse holds. From the creative opportunities I received in Korea in correlating both virtual reality and history and culture, and discovering how mixed reality and virtual reality would be able to communicate that and to create a story that really utilizes these technologies to create a more immersive experience, as well as learning opportunities with the Kansas Digital Drive, where we explored the utilization of mannequins in order to create a virtual education environment for nurses in training. Along with my experiences at the Augmented Reality Summer School, Mixed Augmented Reality Summer School, MARS, in 2021, where I had the honor of participating as the only high schooler among many college graduates and in-field professionals to explore the applications in which mixed reality could provide solutions to medical problems we face today. Our team explored the option of creating a program to support remote learning for nurses in training in developing countries. First, I'd like to thank Professor Tom Furness, the founding grandfather of VR, for inspiring all the terrific work occurring in this amazing field, and the Virtual World Society for giving this recognition to me. I want to dedicate this award to the founder of Youth AI Lab, Jeffrey Pan, and my entire Youth AI Lab team, who have been with me every step of the way and have helped me make what we have today possible. I would like to thank Diane McClelland of the Girls STEAM Institute for the wonderful experiences she has provided me in contact with, including the Kansas City Digital Drive, and all of my wonderful mentors who have guided me every step of the way and who have really provided me with insight and opportunities I needed to carry forward to who I am today as an explorer within the field of virtual reality. And of course, I'd like to thank my two schools, Hetero School at Oakland, California, and Concordia International School, Shanghai. And my mother and father, of course, whose influence and support for me have been too great to count. And last but not least, I want to dedicate this award to all of the past and future Youth AI Lab members, the pioneers and leaders and problem solvers of the next generation, who will continue to carry on and make this technology accessible and ethically used to make a better world for all. Thank you.
All right, Melinda, do you want to come on up one more time? So please give it up.
Sounds like a plan. Let me.
Yeah,
okay, I
Melinda.
made it up the stairs first try this time.
Melinda, your work is amazing, very well deserved. Thank you so much for not only the work you do, but also for really making the effort to join us here and making this event special for all the people here and for the future. And so, once again, Melinda, thank you. Thank you, Rylan. If you want to make yourselves comfortable and enjoy the rest of the show, we'll get ready for our next awardee. Thank you so much. All
Thank you again. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Rylan. Congratulations. Well done. And yeah, we'll just have that over there. So, on with the slides. There are so many different things to do here. It may look. Did that restart? I think that restarted. Yes, it restarted. May look easy, but I'm stretching myself. Oh, we skipped one. So it is my great honor to ask to the stage our next award for the Oh, am I not showing? No. Now I'm showing. Okay, Rob, where are you in your tuxedo? Please come on up.
And remember that. Advance the slide.
There you go.
There we go.
Right. We got Rob. Remember to unmute yourself, Rob, please. And let's get some. There we go. Rob Terrio from Ontario, from Georgia College. How are you doing, Rob? Thank you for joining. You okay?
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, I'm great.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Just before I hand over to you, Rob, I want to share a little story. I was thinking about this. About 4 years ago, I mentioned earlier, I got into VR, and I was lucky enough that my college was quite supportive of what I was doing. I got a bit of a budget to get some headsets and get some equipment. And here's Tom joining us now, walking down like an astronaut, right down that red carpet. Fantastic. Brilliant. Like the hero he is. He's joined on a different device, that's why. Fantastic, Tom. Thanks for persevering. Early on in my VR career, I met this Canadian guy who was interested in VR, was attending some of our events and asked very, very pertinent questions, and we got into conversations. And not shortly after I started my VR lab at college, Rob, you got a bit of funding and kind of started getting busy and talking to different departments. And we had for about 2 years, we had this parallel career where I'd hear from you, oh, I just got funding to do this, and I was doing the same thing. So for a while, we were really sharing a similar trajectory. Of course, Rob, you've now gone on to become, well, I won't spoil your speech, but over the last few years, the work you've done is the reason why you're here today. So, Rob, thank you. I'm going to hand over to you. Am I going to play your video in the background? I think that's what we agreed. Yep, lovely.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, and I'm just going to check
move over to the side a little bit.
Yeah, as you like. I'm just going to check your audio's good. I'm loading the video shortly. Okay, ready when you are. I don't think there's any audio, which is
there's no audio. Okay,
right, here we go. Over to you.
All right. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. I am truly, deeply honored and humbled to receive this prize. It certainly was never an expectation of mine. Nothing I would have imagined over the last 30 some odd years of my career. Just by way of background, I come from a medical background. I was a paramedic for 35 years and an educator for a little over 20 years. I also, just as a side note, I was a critical care flight paramedic on the air ambulance and had the distinct honor of being the personal paramedic to two former U.S. presidents who were visiting Canada at the time. Anyway, a few years ago, I did a master's degree and developed an interest in virtual, mixed, and augmented reality. And I was pretty excited about it. And it made me quite curious about it, and I wanted to get my hands on some VR equipment. So I purchased a gaming computer and a Vive headset, and I was able to attend a conference in Washington, D.C., where I got to experience patient simulation for the first time. And like most of you who've been in VR or had your first VR experience, it was truly a wow experience for me. It was a wow experience because suddenly I felt like I was in the room with someone who was critically ill, and I could see him struggling to breathe. I can hear his labored breathing. I could see the discoloration in his lips as he struggled to catch his breath. And when I spoke to him, he was only able to speak 4 or 5 words between taking breaths. I was able to put a blood pressure cuff on him, put ECG leads on, put a pulse oximeter on. I could take a stethoscope and listen to his chest and actually identify abnormal lung sounds. It was truly amazing. And I must have said, wow, 100 times through that whole 15-minute experience. And at the end of it, I took the headset off. It was like having seen a really thought-provoking movie or having read a really thought-provoking book where I just needed some time to myself to process what I just experienced. And a couple of things struck me when I started to reflect on that experience. One, I got the same twinge of adrenaline that I get when I encounter someone who's critically ill or injured. And I think to myself, I need to assess and treat this person quickly. And I thought for my first year paramedic students, to be able to have that experience, to be able to feel a sense of presence in the room, to experience the context, to be in the same or similar environment that they would be working in the field, and to have agency or to be able to do things with their hands, that had to be really powerful. It was certainly powerful for me. And my first year students, we do some case-based learning, but they would be looking at bullets on a PowerPoint slide and maybe some images. But to be in the room, seeing a sick patient, talking to them, assessing them, doing things, really incredible. So I managed to get some funding and got VR into our paramedic lab. And that led to some discussion around building a VR hub in the library, which we were successful in doing. And that led to my current position as University Technology Manager. My role now is to help faculty and programs explore and integrate virtual, mixed, and augmented reality where appropriate and desirable. When I think about virtual reality, I think about something that Mike Wadera, who's a writer for TechCrunch, once said. He said, we're transitioning from the information age to the experiential age. And that's really what immersive learning is all about. We're able to put immersive learning into the theory component. So when I think about programs like the trades or nursing or paramedicine, there's typically a trajectory between didactic and lab experience and then field placement. And now we can take the field placement and put it into the theory component, which is really quite incredible. And shortly after I started my position as an immersive technology manager, I discovered that one of our faculty members, a guy by the name of Costin Bianchiu from our architectural technology program, he'd been using virtual reality with his architectural technology students for about 3 years already. And it just sort of reaffirmed in my own mind that innovation really happens at the faculty level, at the teacher level. So if you're in an administrative position or a senior role at a university or college or even K-12, you want to think about your frontline educators. They're the ones who are innovating. They're the ones who are early adopters. And oftentimes they fly under the radar because they're afraid to tell anyone what they're doing, or they're afraid that people will criticize it or something. But it was pretty incredible. So in the span of 3 years, I was determined to find some compelling off-the-shelf virtual reality experiences and speak with individual faculty in different programs and say, hey, what do you think about this? And then discuss a pilot with small cohorts of 10 to 25 students typically. Think about the return on investment, trial it, evaluate it, think about best practices for this particular application, and then see about integration. And is there an adequate return on investment? Does it, as in the words of Jeremy Billitson say, does it provide something that otherwise in the analog world would be difficult, impossible, or dangerous, impossible, counterproductive, expensive? You can add to that difficult, impractical, inappropriate, etc. And when I say inappropriate, I mean things like taking a group of paramedic, police, and fire students to a crime scene or a car crash scene. That would be inappropriate, but you can do it in virtual reality. And so we have close to 400 VR headsets right now, and we've integrated VR, integrated or piloted VR in close to 20 programs. We also have virtual reality in some of our specialty areas like mental health and well-being. They're using it for mindfulness training, our Center for Change Making and Social Innovation. We've also been creating digital twins for education. So for example, we created using a Matterport camera, created a digital twin of our Georgian dining room for English for academic purposes. We created a digital twin of our chemistry labs and our optician labs for safety and orientation. And we've also been doing a little bit of development in virtual reality using grant money. And on that note, I want to say virtual reality, as you know, applications are very expensive. And so I encourage colleges and universities that get grant money to do some developing, to think about, at the end of it, making that application an open source application. That's what we are doing. We're currently developing a suite of physiology applications that will become open source. Virginia Tech University created some animal anatomy applications that they made open source. Another great example. We're doing some research. We're on a second year of a 2-year research study to look at the efficacy of VR anatomy. And lastly, we developed a virtual reality educator micro-credential because I think it's really important to get the word out to other educators about VR and its pedagogical potential. So I'm a big believer in sharing I'm a big believer in collaborating. I'm a big believer in R&D, research and duplicate. And I'm a big believer in peer networks. So with that, what I want to say is if ever you want to have a conversation about how we've deployed virtual reality for labs, for distance education, by other means, please, I welcome your emails, your conversations, and in turn, I hope to learn from all of you and the larger XR community, because in the words of Paulo Coelho, sometimes we have to travel far to find what is near, and that really should be unnecessary with today's technology. We should be able to connect with one another and help one another out. So with that, again, thank you so much. Thank you, Georgian College, for giving me the freedom to explore virtual reality in the way that we have. And I should thank the Future Skills Canada grant as well, on which a lot of the money was used for VR exploration. So thank you, Daniel.
Wonderful.
And Virtual World Society.
Rob Terrio, everyone. Rob Terrio. All right, Rob, come. Just before you leave, I forgot at the beginning. Come, I've got a little something for you. You get to give this baby a hug before you go. Come on up, give it a nice big hug. I won't let you take this one. Yeah, you either teleport. Yep, there you go. So there you go. You'll be getting one of those in the post at some point. Nice. Well deserved, and it's been a pleasure witnessing and sharing part of your journey, Rob. Well done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. Jackie, you're going to be joining me, or will I be doing the next one? I'm happy to do it if you want.
Tom is presenting the next one, so just have the
All right,
slides.
a warm welcome for Tom. When you're ready, do you want to join us up on the stage here? Yeah, keep pushing forward. You should be all right. You'll slide up those stairs just right.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right.
And then a bit of a rotation. There we go.
Yeah.
We got
Hi,
Tom
everyone.
here.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, this is the first time I've ever done this. Can you still hear me? This is the first time I've ever done this on the Mac.
Oh, wow.
On the Mac,
Advance the slide,
Yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah.
Yes, coming now. So
You're looking good,
slides.
Tom.
That's good.
There we go. Start sharing. There we go. To jump past these again, it starts from the beginning. Apologies. Here we go. All right, over to you, Tom.
Well, I was earlier having a chat with Myron Kruger, my old friend and colleague from way back. Just a few minutes before the event started, and everything was fine. I was using my headset and VR and things like that. And Myron and I were chatting, and just a whole bunch of things were flooding through my mind. As it turns out, Myron is really 1 year older than I am. I didn't think that was possible to have anybody that's older. But he has been one of the original pioneers in the field of virtual and augmented reality. And he did it a different way. He actually was interested in how to use computers, not only for art, but how to interact with computers by using your body. And you'll probably, Myron will probably show you some slides and about that. But I was blown away by this idea. Myron, I remember in one, I think it was at SIGGRAPH, where I was standing in front of a TV camera, but saw on a projection screen sort of my shadow, and I was actually playing the drums all around me. By moving my hands around playing the drums, it worked there. But I could see myself on the screen playing those drums. So this was, I thought, this guy is really neat and on stuff. And, on good stuff. And so we also had started what is now the IEEE VR conference. It was called the Ray Conference, the very first one in Seattle. I think Myron, you were there too for that event. And he has been one of the standards, along with the old guys like Mort Heilig and Ivan Sutherland. And so Myron, I can't tell you what a thrill it is for me to present to you today and have you on stage with me.
Should we bring him up?
The Nextant Prize. That's right. Myron, why don't you come on up and join us here?
Right. So a little context, Myron has also mastered the art of levitation.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, you'll see this here.
That's fantastic. Wow.
Hi, Myron.
All right.
And just before I and you'll see I'm just gonna kill that chair. Boom. There you go.
There he is.
Yeah. Tom, just for you to understand, I'm gonna unmute Myron. There's a bit of feedback, so we're gonna let Myron. I'm gonna switch his microphone on now, and then we'll let him speak for a bit. I'm just gonna find Myron's thing here. Lovely. Myron, over to you.
Okay, well, thank you, Tom, for that kind introduction. I remember quite vividly talking to you at a conference in, I think, Santa Barbara. And I was interviewing you to get information for my second book. And I want to thank you for creating this Virtual World Society, and you and Jackie and Daniel, and awarding me the Nextant Legacy Prize. I want to say, since many people may not know who I am or what I did, I'll describe a few words about the evolution of virtual reality as I perceived it. 50 years ago, PCs didn't exist. Many computers were struggling to make their way onto the market. But I realized that computers would soon be part of our daily lives. I wanted to create a relationship that was both pleasing and practical. If you had used a computer all day, every day, if you had an ugly relationship with it, you had a lousy life, was my argument. So I considered trying to build a head-mounted display, and probably couldn't have done it, but I thought I could. But decided instead on a completely unencumbering approach, because I wanted to present my ideas to the public. And that has always been a theme. I've done a little work with head-mounted displays and even thought about their design a little bit. But to that end, I began working on a series of interactive environments at the University of Wisconsin. In 1970, visitors to the University Art Gallery were confronted by a room-sized projection screen that displayed their life-size video images juxtaposed with computer graphics. They willingly cooperated with the illusion that the graphic objects were real and expected to be able to affect them. They drew with their fingertips, interacted with a graphic creature, and hit a graphic ball back and forth, playing virtual volleyball as if it was the most natural thing in the world, all without any instruction. I was a mile away, controlling the graphics with a data tablet. They wouldn't let me move the graphics machine. The gallery visitors and I were interacting in a new telecommunication space that I dubbed Video Place. I defined it as an artificial reality in which the laws of cause and effect were composed by the artist. The slides you're about to see begin with a SIGGRAPH 85 installation in which I had automated my participation in the 1970 exhibit. A real-time vision system analyzed the silhouettes of the participants, and handmade computer graphics provided the effects that we wanted. So this system, which was continued in existence for years, was used for both playful and practical applications. And I'll show you more of the playful, but it was my thought that the same technology should be practical and playful. So can we start with the first slide? Okay, this is a quite well-known interaction critter. He's an escapee from a video game, an early video game, and interacts with your image in real time. And the many different behaviors that he has. Next slide.
Oh, sorry, I'm back.
Okay. As in the 1970 exhibit, people could hold up a finger and draw with it. And if they held up 5 fingers, that was a command to erase. Next. And this is another example with color added. Next. Okay. In this case, the fingertips are control points on a spline curve. So rather than being purely mathematical equations, these spline curves are something to play with, a graphic toy. Thanks. Our hardware permitted a wide variety of image processing effects, and each of which was was beautiful, and it was an incentive then to keep moving. Next. This is another still from that same interaction. Next. This is actually a application of something I did first for the National Weather Service to add some interest to weather graphics, and then later to Pratt & Whitney to show the flow of gases through jet engines. Next. This is a mandala interaction. Your image is repeated in the circle, and then as you move, the mandala shape changes. Next. And here's another still from the same interaction with the same person. This was a whole new motive to move your body, and we used it for things like range of motion therapy, trying to reach elderly people who had no interest in moving their body. Next slide. This was done for the IBM gallery in New York City. New Yorkers are obsessed with their city, so we allowed people to turn on the lights in the buildings and create dynamic patterns. Next.
Yeah.
This is a teleconference. There are 2 people, one sitting at the video desk, that's the one with the giant hands, and then a visitor comes in and finds themselves dangling on a string. For students, that seemed like a familiar experience. And so they found, as they moved from side to side, that there were some roadrunner physics that would allow them to start swinging. And they realized after a while from their experience on swings that they could accelerate their swinging, and to the point where one wondered if they could do a 360, and indeed they could, and the people watching would often applaud when they succeeded. Next. There was another interaction, actually an exhibit at SIGGRAPH called Tiny Dancer, and a dancer could dance on my arms, and then if I tilted my forearm, they would reach a point where they were unweighted, and they would roll down my arm to my hand, and I would pick up, hold their image, and toss it in the air and catch it with the other hand. Next. This is another still from that interaction. I'm about to throw it. Next slide. This is a piece called Extrusion Illusion, and in it, your finger, 2 fingers or 4 fingers become the aperture in an extruding machine. And as graphic stuff comes out of the aperture, you can change the shape of the aperture and create a complex 3-dimensional solid in a matter of seconds. Next. Next slide. Okay, this is the gas flow application that was done for Pratt & Whitney over a couple of years. It was incredibly easy to use. It was demonstrated at SIGGRAPH, and we taught people who've never knew nothing about fluid dynamics how to operate it within a matter of 2-3 minutes. Next. This is a little hard to see, but it is a sensory floor with 4,000 handmade pressure switches. And as people walked around the environment, it would serve multiple people. A graphic fish was projected on the floor from a laser graphic system mounted 30 feet above. And so it would chase them around the floor, and everybody, the minute they found out what was going on, would start behaving much more actively than they normally would. Next. This was originally inspired by a 1975 proposal to NSF for science education. The idea, we've got one ahead.
Oh, sorry, I apologize.
That's okay. Children would enter in individually, and they would explore this small planet. And since children would have different natures and different behaviors, it was expected that they would learn observe different things about what was going on, what the inhabitants were, what the creatures were, what the weather was like, and so on. And then they would come out and meet together and discuss what they had observed, form hypotheses about what was going on, and go back in to test their hypotheses. So they would learn to be scientists rather than simply to learn vocabulary and solve mathematical puzzles. Next. This was a very unusual graphic avatar. It was controlled by both video and magnetic sensors, and it was performed by a singer. And it didn't work ever. The character worked fine, but some of the other parts, which include wireless tracking of a person wearing a head-mounted display, it worked. But the part that was a little iffy was the transmission of the signal to the head mount from the stationary transmitter. But the idea was then that the performer would be able to throw their voice at the visitor and spin it around their head, and then it would go off behind them. And a later plan was that they would be able to smell alien breath on with the sound. Next slide. This is another series of playful interactions with some kind of graphic creature that you control. And so as fast as you move, this changes character instant by instant. And the next two slides are related to it. Next. And again, this was quite a beautiful, because everything about it was dynamic, the movement of the shapes on the surface. Next slide. And this is actually a duet between two characters, but the characters were both controlled by a single person. And so they could modulate the distance between them and as well as the shape. Next slide. Anybody interested in the history of all of this, my book, Artificial Reality 2, is, believe it or not, still available at Amazon after almost 30 years.
Wow.
Now let's go to the videotape, which shows some footage shot by an Australian television program called Beyond 2000. The tape.
Myron Kruger of the Artificial Reality Corporation is credited with being the first computer researcher to find a way into the virtual world. His video place has become a meeting point for reality hackers. Imagine becoming your own shadow and being able to interact with other people's shadows in a simulated space, to touch them and to be touched. Kruger's aim is to create just such a shadow world, where people can relate to each other in a way quite impossible in the physical realm.
It was as if evolution had prepared us for seeing ourselves on television screens combined with computer images. But also, one of the main attractions is the juxtaposition of large and small, so that the two people will now interact and to some extent discover what the possibilities are what is suggested emotionally by scale. And this is part of the general video place concept of people getting together in the artificial reality. In other words, what's happening now between the two people is that we're now interacting in a way that humans have never could.
Wonderful.
Thanks again.
All right, Myron. Tom, do you want to come and say a few words? Tom, you're muted. Tom, you're muted. Get your microphone on. Tom.
You
All
have
right,
to
Tom.
do that for me. Okay.
You're good.
Myron, I'm going to come up beside you here. Okay. Here I am.
Tom, just for you to know, Myron is currently muted. If you want to say a few words, and then we'll let Myron finish off.
Okay, sure. Well, Myron, this is wonderful. I again, as I mentioned earlier, I have several copies actually of your book, and I used some of the material in your book in my classes at the university, talking about the early days, along with Ivan Sutherland's work and your work. It was just amazing, an inspiration to me. And so I can't tell you how I feel in terms of this opportunity to I know a piece of glass, a virtual glass right now, but a piece of physical glass that you receive doesn't really contain all of the memories and all the good work that you've done to stimulate this whole industry. And but we want you to know that we've been thinking about you.
Sorry, go on,
and
Tom.
that you are our hero. And so thanks for being here. Thanks for being willing to participate in this. And mind you, we're in a virtual space that you were part of creating many years ago, and that we will continue to make it better so that we all can enjoy playing the kind of games that you thought about many, many years ago. So thanks for coming, and congratulations on the Legacy Prize.
So, Myron, a few final words from you, please.
Well, I certainly appreciate being honored at a time when one no longer expects to be honored.
Yeah.
And there's many things, slides and videos that I never had digitized that I might have shown today, but I think we could represent what I did. And it's time for other people to carry on. The one thing I would say about my approach versus what we're seeing here today is that it would be just as I'm a virgin to this level of VR, and it was possible for me to interact. I think that in all cases, there should be a virtualization of the real world and a continuum of levels of immersion so that people who are not currently steeped in the lore can participate and get in and get out. That was always my feeling. I wanted to be able to get in and get out of my virtual experience. So that's sort of my advice going forward. Thanks again.
Wonderful. Myron, thank you so much once again. Big round of applause, for Myron. And what we're going to do now, while we've got Myron on the stage, I'm again going to mute Myron briefly. I'm going to remove his chair, and I'm going to ask Rob and Melinda, please, to come up and join Myron on stage so we can take some pictures, and then we're going to ask everybody to come up and take some pictures. So first of all, Melinda and Rob, please come and stand next to, I'll put this on the side here, on one side, for all of you. Lovely. Rob, you've done this before, you know just how to stand. Melinda, perfect as well. Please take all the pictures you can. I'm going to take some myself. And give us a few minutes, and I'll just play a bit of music while we're doing that. Lovely. Tom, do you want to get in on a few of these pictures as well? I think that's appropriate. Jackie, maybe you as well. Jackie, you want to get on stage for those of you who don't know, Jackie has been an absolute, what's the word? She's driven this whole project for us with the, Jackie, you'll have to back up a little bit further so you can hit the ramp. Bit further back. Yep, and now aim at the ramp. There you go. Perfect. Oh, okay. You've jumped backstage. There you go. Lovely. Yeah, get in that picture there nicely. Just on wonderful. That's it, Rob. Yeah, we'll let Jackie get in the middle. Some nice pictures. That's a perfect one. I got that one. Beautiful. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And now, could I ask everybody who's here, please, to join us on stage all together? So that, and Andrea Cates, I've just seen, Linda Ritchie's here from our board, Andrea Cates. If you're able to join us on stage, I'll see, I can probably bring some of you up with a chair. I'm going to clone a few chairs, and I can get some of you up there. For those of you who don't know, you can teleport with your, I think, right mouse button. That's it. Or you can, yeah, that's it. Perfect. So I'm going to move the statue, I'm going to move it behind everyone, make it nice and big, and then I'm going to get the title slide up, I think, of our slides here. Oh,
Daniel, could we assist Myron in maybe spinning around to face the front?
Yes. Yes, good point. I'll do that just shortly. Okay.
Thank you.
There, we've got the title slide. Yeah, lovely. Okay. Pictures away, everyone. Now's the time to take pictures. Thank you so much.
Let's bring up Andrea.
Yeah, let's bring up Andrea if we can. Andrea, let me get you there. Let me find you. Andrea, here we go. Put you up there. All right, we got Andrea just here next to you there, and then I'll delete that. We got you standing up there, perfect. Where's the? Just gonna get one more thing here. Effects. All right, almost there, guys. A few more pictures.
Do the confetti for our picture.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Daniel, hop up there as well. Are you on stage, Daniel? See if you can. I'll try to grab one from the sky here. If you're up there, Daniel.
I got one.
There you go.
Here we go. Hey. Fantastic. Myron, congratulations. Rob, congratulations. Melinda, congratulations. Thank you, everybody, for coming and joining us
to
honor.
One more thing, Daniel.
Oh, we do. You're right. I almost jumped the gun. Right.
So
let's do
when
that
everybody
now.
sits down, we'll do our closing.
Lovely. Yes, absolutely. You're quite right. I almost jumped the gun. So please do take a seat briefly. I'm going to calm us back down again a little bit here. Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, everybody, please, when you're ready, take a seat again. We do have one more thing from Jackie. She's been saving her voice all evening to do this, so I mustn't steal this moment from her. All right. Over to you, Jackie. Oh, I'm doing the slides, aren't I? Yes.
Yeah.
So this might take a while to get to the right slide. I'm going to run through again.
Well,
I'm
I'll
going to share
start
these
while
here.
you're getting the slide up. You know, our first Nextant prize was actually a prize awarded to Randy Pausch, and that was in memoriam because Randy unfortunately left us way too early, and he was an amazing VR pioneer who, among other things, started the Entertainment Technology Center at Carnegie Mellon University. So he just contributed so much in his short time to VR. He was the first person to go from academia into Disney Imagineering and worked on the Aladdin carpet ride. He convinced Disney to publish a paper about that work. So we have a tradition of honoring, in memoriam, but we kind of had neglected it in the last few years. So we wanted to use tonight's ceremony to bring this back. Now, we don't certainly have everybody that we've missed over the last several years, and we don't have probably everybody that has left us this year. But we do have three that I would like to mention. So if we could have the first slide. And these people all contributed amazing things to the VR industry. The first one was George Feifel, who started the Boston cyber arts community back in the late 80s, early 90s. And he was a mentor and an art curator and just did so many things to have this vibrant community. It was just this little oasis of amazing people together there in Boston. So George unfortunately left us this year, and he will be very missed in that community. Secondly, we have, next slide, Roger Nelson. And Roger Nelson was one of the pioneers of kind of capturing motion. He created a company called Motion Works. It actually was created out of the Kerner Optical Lab, which was kind of part of ILM. And he was a master of this for many, many years and contributed much to the beginnings of what we take for granted today as human performance capture. So we miss Roger too. And finally, for this year's In Memoriam, we want to mention Doug Trumbull. Now, you may know Doug Trumbull in his film career as having done some amazing films from Brainstorm to 2001, A Space Odyssey, to Close Encounters of a Third Kind, all kinds of really wonderful films and going to the nth degree to get special effects that just delighted and amazed us. But he was also very much in the immersive media business because he was doing things for the theme parks, what we now call location-based entertainment, things like the Back to the Future ride at Universal Studios. And so a number of those techniques and display devices, very high-res display film inventions that he had. So, it's said that he lived in the future, and I think that's very true. And as befitting Doug Trumbull, who also left us this year, his ashes are being sent into space. So let's give a round of applause for these and for all the people who have contributed that we probably missed tonight. And then we'll go back to celebrating for everybody.
Absolutely. All right, Jackie, thank you so much for that. I'm going to come up one last time to the stage. And I think with a few bumps and scratches and a bit of crawling here and a bit of duct tape there, we've done it. But we're back. We had a year's, 1 or 2 years absence. We're back in VR. Thank you all so much. Again, Melinda, Myron, Rob, Jackie for all of your work. Tom for all of your work, all of you for joining us, Matt for filming up there. This will be shared on our YouTube channel for those of you who want to share it and watch it back. I've also made a spatial recording, which is fun. We can actually come back and experience this again at some point. And with that, I'm going to switch the microphones to spatial audio, which means that, and I'll make the distance nice and close so we can just have some private conversations. We won't have any more announcements. Please do, Jackie.
So, if you want to know more about our award winners, do look in our upcoming newsletters, not
Thank
the
you.
next one, but the one after that, we will be having some deep interviews or deep talks with our award winners from this year and
Yes.
previous ones as well. So you'll be able to see more of their work and learn more about them through our newsletter and our website.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jackie. So switching everyone to spatial audio, feel free to stay. Feel free to leave if you want to leave. Myron, thank you for coming. I won't switch your microphone on, Myron, just because we're going to get a lot of feedback from you. So if you want to leave now, thank you so much for making the effort and being patient with us. And here we go. Spatial audio. It's time to socialize and have fun.